Praise Yah, brothers and sisters. Praise the Most High. Baruch are all those who revere Him, revere Yahuwah, and walk in His ways. Tahalim 128, verse 1. All praises is due to the Most High. Yahuwah, our Eluah, our Elohim. Sonini Nanini Samaldra. He is the one and only one. There's none to compare to Him. Today we are reading from Proverbs 14. It's based on the reading from Proverbs 14, Mashal 14. Some people say Mashal 14. Every wise woman builds her house, but the foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. All right, sisters. I'm going to go back to the reading that I read in Mashal 12, verse 4. A worthy woman, meaning an honorable, upright, exemplary woman, is the crown of her husband. But a disgraceful wife is as rotten as in his bones. Mashal 31:10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. Mashal 18, verse 22. He who finds a true wife, a real wife, not just some woman that has his ring on her hand, but knows what her role is in his life and in the life of everyone who is in that home and in that family. So a true wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from Yahuwah. Tahalim 21:9. I'm sorry, not Tahalim, Mashal 21:9. It is better to dwell in a house of the corner of a housetop on a flat roof, exposed to all kinds of weather, than to live in a house shared with a nagging, quarrelsome, and fault-finding woman. So many of us are fault-finding. So many of us marry a man the way he is and then want to change him. Don't like nothing about him. Finding fault about everything he does and doesn't do. That woman will make a man want to dwell in the corner of a housetop with all kinds of weather. Mashal 27, verse 15. A continual dripping on a day of violent showers and a contentious woman are alike. Whoever attempts, verse 16, attempts to restrain a contentious woman might as well try to stop the wind. His right hand encounters oil and she slips through his fingers. You don't want to hear nothing he has to say. In fact, nothing he says is true, has no value in her eyes. She slips right through his fingers. She don't hear nothing. And she's only thinking about herself. So going back to the reading based on Mashal 14, every wise woman builds her house. Realize what you got. Women, we need to realize what we have and build on it. But the foolish one tears it down with her own hands. What is that saying? Behind every good man, behind every great man is a good woman. And what's that one in Proverbs says that her children will grow up to call her blessed? Baruch. A lot rides on how we carry ourselves. He who walks in his uprightness fears Yahuwah, but he who is perverse in his ways despises him. That's why in Tahalim it says, the fool has said in his heart, there is no Eloah, there is no Elohim. He despises Yahuwah. Verse 3, the fool's talk brings a rod to his back, but the lips of the wise protects him. Where no oxen are, the crib is clean, but much increase is by the strength of the ox. Our life can't improve if there's no work, there's no one working towards betterment. A truthful witness will not lie, but a false witness pours out lies. A scoffer seeks wisdom and doesn't find it, but enlightenment comes easily to a discerning person. Sometimes people act like they want it. What did James said? He said, if we ask for wisdom, how Yahuwah will give it to us, and he won't upbraid, he won't hold anything back. He'll be generous with it. But when we ask for it, don't be double-minded, because that man ought not to think he's going to get anything. So when we want anything from Yahuwah, there is a method and there is a principle. And most of all, he is looking at the intent of the heart. So that's what we have to remember. So, though a scoffer may act like he's seeking wisdom, his intentions are evidently not right, or because he doesn't find it. Especially when the word always tells us that Yah is willing to give it to us. And Mashal 8, wisdom is telling us all about how she's there for us. She loves those that love her. So a scoffer seeks wisdom and doesn't find it, but enlightenment comes easily to a discerning person. So he's going to get more wisdom, more enlightenment, insight, perception, knowledge. Verse 7, stay away from a foolish man, for you won't find knowledge on his lips. The wisdom of the prudent is to think about his way, but the indiscretion of fools is deceit. Fools mock at making atonement for transgressions. So they think it's, why are you asking for your transgressions to be blotted out? Why are you trying to get things straight? To them, they mock at it. They don't see any reason to do that. But amongst the upright, there's a good will. The heart knows its own bitterness and joy. He will not share these with a stranger. We can know lots of people, but in all the people we know, there's measurements of knowledge, of friendships, acquaintanceship. And we don't share with strangers or people who are just co-workers or passerbyers, our bitterness, nor our joy. The heart knows his own bitterness and joy. He will not share these with a stranger. The house of the wicked will be overthrown, but the tent of the upright will flourish. There is a way that seems right to a man, but in the end it leads to death. We should not be trying to walk our own walk. Baruch are those who revere Yahuwah and walk in his ways, not our ways. It seems right to us, but our little bitty human brains don't know but only thing what we know right now. Of course, it's going to end in death. We don't know everything. Even in laughter, the heart may be sorrowful, and amusement may end in heaviness. Even in laughter, the heart may be sorrowful, and in amusement, it may end in heaviness. The unfaithful will be repaid for his own ways. Likewise, a good man will be rewarded for his ways. Yah says that he's coming with his reward with him to give to every man, human, what we deserve. Not going to be any time to get it right or change our ways. So the unfaithful will be repaid for his ways. Likewise, a good man will be rewarded for his ways. Listen to that. The unfaithful will be repaid for his ways. So that calamity is coming for those who are unfaithful to truth. A simple man believes everything, but the wise, the prudent man carefully considers his ways. A wise man fears and shuns evil, but the fool is hot-headed and reckless. He who is quick to become angry will commit folly, senselessness. And a crafty man, these scammers that are out and about these days, is hated. The simple inherit folly. They're senseless in their deeds, so they're going to inherit folly. They're going to reap what they sow. But the prudent, wise ones are crowned with value and appreciation. The evil bow down before the good, and the wicked at the gates of righteousness. So even though it may seem like they're getting away with things, the evil will bow down before the good, and the wicked will be bowing down at the gates of the righteous. The poor person is shunned even by his own neighbor, but the rich person has many friends. But he who despises his neighbor transgresses. Yahuwah he is serious about this. He makes that point many, many times. But he who has pity on the poor is Baruch. Don't they go astray who plot evil? If they're plotting evil, they're gone astray, meaning astray from the word. They're far from the word. They who go astray are those who plot evil. But love and faithfulness belongs to those who plan good. So we don't want to be plotting evil. When we find our hearts going that way, we need to know that it's not lining up with truth and righteousness and love, and we need to go to Father and ask him to cleanse our hearts. In all hard work there is profit, but the talk of the lips leads only to poverty. The crown of the wise is their riches, but the folly of fools crowns them with folly. They're just all wrapped up and rolled up in folly. They can't get away from it. So they're crowned with folly. The crown of the wise is their riches. There's so much wealth in being wise. And here's one way. A truthful witness saves lives. We save lives because we're living by wisdom. And the greatest wisdom is seeking Yah, right? Serving him, loving him. But a false witness is deceitful. In the fear of Yahuwah is a secure fortress, and he will be a refuge for his children. Even if our children are not walking as straightly as we would want them to, when we've lived our life, they know, and they know they can come back to us. So we're like a refuge for them. They can come back and get more of what they know Yahuwah has deposited in us. The fear of Yahuwah is a fountain of life, turning people from the snares of death. You see, that goes with the verse I just read a few minutes ago about us saving lives. A truthful witness saves lives. The fear of Yahuwah is a fountain of life, turning people from the snares of death. In the multitude of people is the king's esteem, but in the lack of people is the destruction of the prince. In the multitude of people is the king's esteem, but in the lack of people is the destruction of the prince. He who is slow to anger has great insight, but he who has a quick temper displays foolishness. The life of the body is a heart at peace, but envy rots the bones. He who opposes the poor shows contempt for his maker, but he who is kind to the needy honors his maker. And that also goes hand in hand with verse 21. He means for us to remember the poor and not to have diverse weights. Don't be biased and prejudiced and partial when it comes to the poor. He takes that very seriously. So he who oppresses the poor shows contempt for his maker, but he who is kind to the needy honors his maker. The wicked is brought down in his calamity, but in death the righteous has a refuge. Wisdom rests in the heart of one who has insight, and is even made known in the inward parts of fools. So, wisdom is even made known in the inward part of fools. So they make decisions not to go the way of wisdom. Righteousness exalts a nation, but wickedness is a disgrace to any people. Oh my, are we not seeing that today? The king's favor is towards a servant who deals wisely, but his wrath is towards one who causes shame. If people would just count up the cost to live wisely or to live as fools, living as though there's no day coming where our deeds will be rewarded. That is the reading of Mashal, a reading based on Mashal 14. So let's reflect on our ways. Look at ourselves, because one scripture says that we judge ourselves, we won't be judged. Because if we judge ourselves, then it means we're going to get it right where we see we fall short. And then the Father won't have to judge us because we're going to bring it to him. And he's going to help us to get it right. And he's going to be pleased that we are lining ourselves up, sizing ourselves up against his statutes and his precepts and his guiding principles. He's going to be pleased. Be encouraged, brothers and sisters. Let's live by his wisdom, his instructions that he gives us in the Torah, which is a wisdom, because the teaching of Yehoshaphat said, as for me and my house, we will serve Yahuwah. That's wisdom. So let's live by the law, his instructions, and by this wisdom. Until next time, continue to be encouraged. And let's be wise in our dealings. Pick ourselves up if we fall and try it again. Remember that we win in Yahuwah. We are victorious in Him. And we look to Him.